The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Our website this morning, I think this is indeed one of those mornings. Now, last week, yet another page in the Who is Barack Obama, I guess, book, diary, ongoing story, never-ending tale, turns or drops again. And part of this unexplained mystery is this strange new name, Soebarkah, or Soebarkah. And just as an aside, because Jerry's coming up on the radio show, Corsi told me this story 3-4 years ago. Oh, my God. It was like we killed their family dog. And the things that were said to me about having Jerry on said directly to Jerry, we were the worst people in the world. Well, guess what? Now, under FOI, Freedom of Information, we got the applications are there. The story is pretty lengthy, but it is bizarre. So this video shows up. I get the call. This video drops. We have it up right now on our website, 710knus.com. It must be seen to be believed. At the same time, the audio is really special, especially when it comes to the end. Boom, it's the payoff, because yet there's another MacGuffin. But you can have it. You can lift it right off of our website, send it to 100 of your friends. The more people who see this, the better it will be. Now, of course, I don't think this is the key that unlocks the door by any stretch of the imagination. What this is more of the same. But now you can see the docs themselves. Watch this, 710knus.com. Really well done. Please go to our website, 710knus.com. Watch this, lift it, and send it to somebody that you think deserves to at least take a look at it. And then Jerry's coming up. If you would, Case.
Resourced and documented article at AmericanThinker.com titled Barack Hussein Soebarkah by Jason Kistner, we find some amazing discoveries regarding the identity problem of Barack Hussein Obama. Jason Kistner is an associate professor of criminology at California State University, Fresno. Following is an edited synopsis of that article with an absolutely surprising find by the P.P. Simmons staff at the end of this video. One of the unexplained mysteries in the all but missing documentation of the early life of Barack Obama is the appearance of the name Soebarkah as his last name on an official document filled out by his mother. We are in possession of Stanley Ann Dunham Sotoro's 1968 application to extend her 1965 passport for an additional 2 years. Her passport, by the way, is now reportedly destroyed. On the second page of the application, Ann Dunham attempted to exclude her son Barack Obama, or Soebarkah, from her passport, but the item has been crossed out, perhaps on the advice of the consulate in Jakarta, as this would have left 7-year-old little Barry passportless, so the exclusion did not happen. The appendage Soebarkah seems to indicate a name change or a change in citizenship status for the boy. But there is a very good and surprisingly simple explanation for the seemingly random appearance of the name Soebarkah on Obama's mother's passport application. Believe it or not, the reason appears to be linked to Loretta Fuddy. That's right. The same Loretta Fuddy, the Hawaii State Health Director who approved the release of Obama's long-form birth certificate and who recently and mysteriously died in a plane crash off the coast of Molokai. Obama's mother and Loretta Fuddy have one very strange factor in common. Both have been directly linked to the Subud cult, which originated in, of all places, Indonesia, and was founded by the Javanese Muslim Muhammad Sabu. The small cult appears to have around 20,000 members worldwide. Fuddy's cult member name was Diliana. Her official position was regional helper. Note also that the World Subud organization seems to have been based in, of all cities, Chicago. Wow, think about it. Indonesia, Chicago, Hawaii, 3 locales linked directly and very importantly to Obama's life. We also know from a Hawaii Advertiser article that Subud was introduced to Hawaii in the 1960s. Obama's mother was directly linked to Subud by her biographer and New York Times reporter Janie Scott in the book A Singular Woman, The Untold Story of Barack Obama's Mother. This book was reviewed by the New York Times, so this is a heavily documented fact. Loretta Fuddy worked her way up the ranks and became chairwoman of Sabood USA, based in Seattle, from 2006 to 2008. But note that of all the persons that could have been installed as director of the State Department of Health in Hawaii, Hawaii chose Fuddy, a leader of a small cult with roots in Indonesia and connections to Barack Obama's mother. Secondly, remember that Fuddy assumed the directorship position in Hawaii in January 2011 after being appointed by Hawaii's governor just a few months before the release of Obama's long-form birth certificate. Changing one's name for spiritual reasons was something frequently done by followers of the cult Sabood, and Stanley Ann Sotoro was in fact closely associated with Sabood. We know that. It is reasonable then to suppose that Soebarkah, the name chosen for Obama on that passport, arose in the same way new names for others, like Deliana Loretta Fuddy did. But remember that the name Soebarkah appears in the passport renewal section labeled amend to include or exclude children. The name Barack Hussein Obama Soebarkah is crossed out. This signifies that Obama's mother had apparently decided to exclude Barack from her passport renewal. Apparently, Stanley Ann Dunham Sotoro changed her mind about the exclusion. Perhaps this was done after having been informed by the consulate there that doing so would leave Barack without a passport. But there is another possibility, one just as valid and even simpler. What if Obama's mother was trying to include Obama in the renewal, but she wasn't able to produce a birth certificate, and the Sabood name Soebarkah simply did not suffice legally? That could explain why the name Soebarkah appears nowhere else in any of Obama's documentation of which we are currently aware. But now for the real shocker in this entire matter. The staff at P.P. Simmons did some research and found an old picture of the founder of the cult of Sabood, one Mohammed Sabu Sumohadi Wijojo. Do you see anything
This
odd
is crazy.
here?
It's bizarre.
Think about it.
Wow.
Fuddy, Obama's mother Dunham, Sabood, Hawaii, Chicago, Indonesia, no birth certificate, Soebarkah on the passport, a dead Hawaii Department of Health director, the one who conveniently certified Obama's forged and fabricated long-form birth certificate. Are all of these simply odd coincidences, or is there something more here? I have a feeling we will soon know the truth.
It is amazing. I mean, I urge you to watch the video and send it to your friends. It's yours for free. Without further ado, Jerry Corsi. Doc, have you seen that video that we just played a minute ago?
Yes, I have seen that one. I saw it over the weekend.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been working on it. I haven't filed it yet, but I mean, I'm working on the whole Sabood connection, and I think it's pretty startling, really.
Yeah. Here, let me set this up. Without further ado, I think everyone who listens to radio shows I'm connected with knows this man. If you're new to us, he's a Harvard PhD. He's a longtime friend. We actually have met a couple of times. His name is Jerry Corsi, and he takes it where other people have not even dreamt of going, and he's one of those guys where it comes true. And I credited you when this story dropped on Thursday that you were the first guy to ever say to me, look at this. Where did you see Soebarkah for the first time? I remember, and we've talked about this the last couple of mornings, and when you've been with us, you were the worst human being sucking wind on the planet Earth, and I was like Satan's imp for having you on to talk about this. I wonder where all of those people are this morning, or where they were Friday or Thursday when the truth is found, right?
Well, I mean, look, I've been at this. I found it when those were first released. There was a release of the passport records of Ann Dunham, and this occurred maybe in 2011, 2010, maybe 2010. And I immediately went through them with a fine-tooth comb, and what jumped out at me was that this Soebarkah, that was one of the many things that jumped out, and I wrote about it in my book, Where's the Birth Certificate? That was, again, a major kind of discovery that there was this alternative name it sounded like Obama had Indonesian nationality. It was his nationality. His name had been changed, and she was crossing out the record. I read the instructions on the form. That's what the form instructed an applicant to do, is cross out the name if you were to take that person off your passport and put them on their own passport. There's a period of time when Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, that's his name, was what he was called in Indonesia, was traveling alone even as a child. His mother would stay in Indonesia, and they would put him on an airplane and fly him to Hawaii. Obama talks about this in Dreams from My Father. So it all made sense that he had probably a passport, probably legally adopted in Indonesia by his stepfather, although those adoption papers have never come to light. And more documentation about Barack Obama we don't have. We don't have any Barack Obama's passport records. They're all gone or sealed. But in the mother's application, the Soebarkah indicated that crossing out of the name Barack Hussein Obama and then Soebarkah crossed out is pretty clear indication that her son was going by the name Soebarkah. It was an Indonesian surname, and that she wanted him to have his own passport.
Yeah. But the questions are legion. Who is? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the problem with Obama, and I've made this point repeatedly, is that he really has all the trappings of an intelligence personality, someone who was created by the CIA, because the pieces of the background don't fit together.
Jerry, you know how crazy that sounds?
I know. But I've studied a lot of how CIA operates and the other intelligence agencies, and there's a fingerprint to it. A manufactured identity for a person is usually about 75% pretty good. Well, in other words, this good cover story. You say the person went to this school and he graduated here. Well, all that's pretty good because it fits together until you say, well, let me get the yearbook and let me see if there's pictures in the yearbook. Let me interview some of the people who went to school with him and see if they remember him. And when you begin that level of detailed research, intelligence-fabricated bios fall apart. So the only way to protect them any long period of time is to make sure that people like me who are researching the background don't get access to the documentary evidence.
But here again, I stop you. Dr. Jerry Corsi is with us. People are looking at this video. This video floored me yesterday morning. It is, I think, it concisely solidifies everything that we're talking about in this. I was having breakfast with some people, and I was talking about this story because I had seen the video. And you remember when we were little kids in school, and not that I was any good you were, but they used to take sentences and they would, what did they call you, diagram a sentence, and there's a little.
Yes, I remember doing it.
Like there'd be a noun, this would be a pronoun, and this would be. And
there's a whole structure for it. There's a diagram tree that you put verbs and subject on, all of that.
A noun, a pronoun.
Yeah.
And it's like the Obama story, but all of a sudden something else drops out. And you have to have a whole new bracket, I guess, for this story. And when you take all the other stories and all the other pictures and all the other photoshopping and all the other bizarreness that surrounds this character, and now comes this. And I use the word MacGuffin because in reading Hitchcock's biography, Hitchcock had something in his movies always called the MacGuffin.
Right.
For instance, in the motion picture The Birds, it was the two lovebirds. Remember?
Right.
Well, that was the MacGuffin. And he used and is this a MacGuffin? Is this another key that unlocks a door? Is this another clue to what?
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.